Hi everyone, it's Ashley from the CoEdition team. Welcome back to On the Plus Side. This is our second go around because we were having some technical difficulties like 2 minutes ago and Jamie kept getting booted off. So let's pray that it works this time because we have a really great conversation this week. We are going to be talking about change and healthy ways that you can deal with that. So hello again. Let's bring Jamie in and fingers crossed that she gets to stay in. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
If
Yes.
it doesn't work, then I can continue to try, riding this solo. But let's hope you're here for the long run this time.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, we were talking about moving. I just moved last week, like less than a week ago. I had movers Friday, and you're moving next week. So you and I both have a lot of change happening in our lives. You probably more than me, just because you are moving across the country. So we thought it would be a perfect opportunity to talk about change because regardless of whether you're moving, you're having a complete life difference or a life change, whatever it is, change can be pretty tough sometimes. Or, it can just be hard so let's talk about healthy ways that we can deal with it.
Yes.
So you had told me this week that you were having a lot of stress and you told me you did something and I was like,
so much anxiety.
You told me you did something and I was like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. And I think that's where this idea had stemmed from because it was such it really sparked that in me. I was like, wow, I never thought of that, but that's so brilliant.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's just, again, reiterate. I moved from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I've been in New York. This August will be 4 years. I cannot believe it. It's crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah. And I have lived with roommates ever since I moved here. And I just felt like it was time to get my own place. And I had gone through a breakup at the end of 2020. And I, really wanted to get out of that specific neighborhood. And a lot of my friends, one of my best friends lives in Manhattan. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time. And then just with getting older, I just really wanted my own space that if I do ever invite another person into my life, I have a home that I can invite them to. And I'm one of those people that loves to host. I love to have dinner parties. And so I want the people to come to me and have fun at my place.
It'll be your home, your space.
Right.
Your sacred space.
Right, exactly. And then just working from home, I never anticipated back a year ago that I would be, working from home and creating content from home and hosting live try-ons and all of that. So it was time, and it has definitely been stressful because especially I was telling them moving in an inner city, it's just so much more difficult. It's take moving and then add on an extra 50% stress to that because I don't have a car. I don't have an easy way to get around on public transit.
Is that how you do it? You do it on public transit?
Well, I didn't. I had to rent a car because on public transit, my 2 apartments were an hour away from each other. Even though they're only 12 miles. In a city, it's an entire hour on the train. And so I rented a car last Thursday and Friday. I got movers on Friday, but I did bring a couple of loads over on Thursday, things that were special to me, my plants. And then Friday, after the movers left, the couple hours that I had the car left over, I had to hurry and run to Target and run and go get few things. And it's just so much harder. I wish I would have rented the car all weekend because it's just a lot of back and forth. And I had to rent a car to go get a bunch of boxes. It's you can't bring 15 massive boxes on public transit. It's just everything is just so much more difficult.
Impossible.
So
Yeah.
my last place that I lived, I'd stay there for 2 years, and I'm fingers crossed this place will be like a long time place for me, because moving is so difficult.
And so stressful.
Yes, but moving across the country as well is a lot, because I've been there too. I did basically what you're doing now. I moved from Minnesota to New York.
I know. That's why I'll be like, Ashley, I'll come to you because you've been through it.
Yes.
You know?
And I'll tell you, when I moved, I was at the point in time in my life that I didn't really feel ready, but I knew that if I didn't go, then I would never go. And so I really had to force myself. And
That's
so
exactly how I feel.
So that added like another element. But girl, you got this in the bag. You and Vaughn are gonna kill it. You already have a beautiful apartment. I think that you're just so ahead of the game. You have a job that you're transferring there with. You have an agent. You already have a booking. Like, you are golden. So I think, I'm just going to keep telling that to you. I know that you probably in your mind are like, I know all of these things, but I'm still stressed. Yes. Which makes total sense.
Yeah. There's so much self-doubt that you try to like steer away from that, but it's all those what ifs, Yes.
And then it's also the logistical things of actually getting yourself and your belongings there. So when I moved to New York, I just I rented a minivan and I shoved it full of stuff, and it was a 2-day trip and I had a minivan. So, good times.
Yes. Good memories.
Good memories. So we both have a lot of change happening. But even if you aren't moving, like I had said in this, like the live that we were just on, change could be so many different things. It could be, I have like moving and furniture on my brain, but I'm like, it could be like getting a new couch, or, dealing with something like that, or
a new job, a breakup.
Yep.
There's so many things.
A new neighbor. Yeah. A breakup for sure. A new job for sure. Like, oh, sorry. That's one thing. Penelope, like, I don't think she realizes that we live in an apartment because we have a patio. And so like she can go outside, and I think she thinks like this is a house. And so every time she hears something in the hallway, she goes ballistic. So my apologies.
That is so cute.
little guard dog I have, little 8-pound guard dog.
Don't mess with us.
But anyway, so Jamie and I have been brainstorming about ways that we can cope with change, because it's not always easy. So we came across an article, and I wrote down a couple things that really stood out to me. And here they are. The first one is acknowledging that things are changing. And I think this probably is more for, not really geared towards maybe like for instance, our moving, but say a breakup. Like maybe you're going through a breakup, you're going through a divorce, you're going through, I don't know, your child is growing into a teenager and their behavior is different. Like, acknowledge that is happening. I think that really will then help you get on a path to cope better through that change. Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
The next one is keep up with a regular schedule as much as possible.
I think that one's really important. Like, I think consistency can really help when you're going through change, because as I was thinking of like what my life will be like when I move, like I was like, okay, but I'll still work these hours from home, and like that's consistent. Vaughn and I usually walk our dog like at night, or things like that. Those are consistent things, things like that I'm like, okay, I need those consistent things that, to keep on the schedule,
Absolutely. So since I, like this year, I have gotten into a really great morning routine. I wake up in the morning, I take Penelope out, I make coffee, I go sit down at my desk, I like go through my personal emails, I write down my personal stuff for the day, and then I start. And sorry, that's New York for you. Can you hear the sirens? You know, and starting last week, Sophie, who's on our team, she came over for a live sale or a live try on, and she ended up buying my desk and taking the desk and my desk chair home with her. And so for a couple of days, I didn't have a desk. And like, that was one of the things that when I first moved in here, I'm like, okay, I need to set up my workspace, because if I'm just schlubbing it on my bed or on the floor, I'm not going to feel like I have things together. I'm going to feel the chaos that's around me right now. Mm-hmm. So, you know, having that routine of, okay, I'm still going to let Penelope out in the morning. I'm still going to make my coffee, all of that. Like, I just made sure that I had those things in line. Another one that also ties into the next tip is to try to eat healthy. I know sometimes during big times of change or times of stress, we can alter maybe our food consumption, our alcohol consumption, and it can be a lot. Like, all weekend, I ate out every single meal, every lunch and dinner. We ordered takeout, and my best friend was in town from Minneapolis to help me move, and we ordered takeout every meal for like 4 days straight. And like, at the end of the weekend, I felt awful. I just felt so out of whack, and I didn't feel like, I was tired, I was sluggish, and on top of everything else, like lack of sleep and everything, I was just like, man, I should have prioritized putting my kitchen away, getting groceries, because I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I know I have not been on my A game as far as eating right now. I feel like I'm just like, okay, whatever to survive right now. Mm-hmm. Or like sweets. Like, that's like when I'm super stressed, I'm like, give me ice cream, please.
Right. Right.
Give me cake.
Right. And it could even be the opposite. Like, a lot of times when people are really stressed and overwhelmed, they forget to eat, or they don't eat. Mm-hmm. And then it comes 7:00 at night and they're starving. And exactly, that's just not great for a person. And I think to cope with change and stressful times that you're going through, I think to stay on like your normal everyday, you know. I also drank a lot of wine this weekend, which I'm not like a huge drinker, but because I had my best friend in town, like, we were like, and celebrating because I moved into my own place, that also was kind of like discombobulating. And so I think, yeah, trying to just stay on your regular routine, your regular eating schedule, your regular drinking schedule, whatever. Don't forget to drink water. That's huge. I've not had enough water since I moved.
Hydrate.
And then the next tip is exercise. So I'll be honest, I do not exercise on the regular. That is not like part of my daily routine as a person. But I do.
But you walk, you're in the city.
Yes.
So, I mean, that is exercise.
Yes. I do take Penelope. Yes, I do take Penelope on walks every single day. I wear a Fitbit, so I try to get 10,000 steps in a day. Like, when I was going to the office every day, I would get those so easy. I'd have them in by like sometimes noon. I'd have my 10,000 steps in. But when you're working from home, like days that I'm not creating content, when I'm like up and jumping around, I sit at my desk. And so I really have to be diligent about like, okay, I have to take her on 2 long walks a day. That'll result in X amount of steps. And then I just feel like my body, I sleep better, I feel better. So even if you're not like, you know, like you have a workout schedule or a trainer, like just get a little bit active.
Yeah, I think the exercise gives you endorphins.
Definitely.
And so that makes people happy. And then you're like, okay, I can do this. I'm happy. I can start my day well, you know, and especially with change, you know, even if it is a good change, you know, it could also be a nervous change. So it's something that could be like bittersweet, where you're like excited about something new, but also there's a lot of stress and anxiety and those unknowns. So I think exercise or even walking or anything, you know, active really does help that.
Yeah. And I think you made a really good point, because you can feel stress even from good change, you know? Yeah. So I would say that these,
like us moving is definitely a good change. It's something new, it's fresh, and it's exciting. But oh my goodness, like we're so stressed, you know,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's ultimately something good.
Yes.
But
so I think that these tips are good for positive change and for negative change. Like if you are going through something hard, like a breakup, a divorce, I don't know, like your kid moving to college is probably a good thing, but for you, like you want your kid around. Whatever.
But that's so much change. Your kid's been there for 18 years and then all of a sudden not, you know.
Absolutely. If one of a change that I know is probably super hard is like when a pet dies or when a family member dies or something like that, you know? So I think if you have like these tools in your toolbox, whatever comes your way, you're going to be like, you're going to be able to handle it better. So.
Exactly.
And then the next tip is seek support, and definitely have your people that you can call up, even if you have to vent for 5 minutes. It really does help. I know you and I have been, having each other's backs during this whole moving situation, and
it's so nice.
Yeah, and like I know how it is, so of course, come to me at any time. Like even if you just want to be like, oh, like I'm so sick of these boxes. I hear you. If I turn this camera around, you would like, ah.
Yes, same. You'd be like, is that an apartment or a jungle?
Or a junkyard.
Yeah. Accurate.
Yes. So yeah, like don't be ashamed to ask for help or talk to someone, even if it's like not a family member. Like if you are going through something major in your life, it's okay if you want to get professional help or, just go to a family member or whoever. Like that is totally okay. We're human. Sometimes we can't work through everything on our own. That's just, that's normal.
Oh yeah, there's definitely been times where I'm like, okay, I gotta go to a therapist.
Yes.
I definitely need to talk to someone not in my bubble.
Right.
I need to talk to someone out of my bubble, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes, to get like a very unbiased, or even if you just want someone to listen, not even necessarily like
respond.
Give you advice, I think I had read an article or watched a video or something about like when you go to someone about like if you need to talk, you can just say like, or the person listening can be like, do you want me to just listen or do you want my advice? And I think that makes such a difference.
Yeah, for sure. A good happy medium, right?
Yeah, definitely. The next tip is write down the positives.
That one I thought was so good because sometimes I think for a long time I didn't do that. Now I've really started. I know some people do like affirmations and things like that. I'm not someone who has done that a lot, but that's something that I'm really trying to work on to like get those negative thoughts or those what ifs out of my head.
Yes, definitely. Obviously if you're going through positive change, sometimes it can get clouded because of everything that you have to get done. So definitely sit down, take 5 minutes. I mean, that's part of my morning routine. Before I log into work, I have a little notebook and I write down like a couple things that I appreciated from the day before that I was happy or excited about. And having that really kind of puts things into perspective. And then if you are going through a change that would be considered mostly negative, there's got to be something. I keep bringing up my breakup, but it was kind of like perfect timing. Like after my breakup happened at the very end of 2020, there was this like meme or video or something going around the social channels, and it was about the benefits of a breakup. And it was so funny because I was like, why would you ever think like there were benefits unless it was like obviously a bad relationship? But my relationship was pretty good. But it talked about things like you have more time to yourself. You have the creative, availability to do things for you. Your space is going to be more clean. You're going to get more sleep. You're going to save money. Like, and I was like, wow, I have never thought about this kind of stuff. And I definitely like in the last couple of months, like, have definitely realized, like, I am taking a lot better care of myself and putting myself first, and like kind of flourishing a little bit more creatively, because you have all the time in the world with yourself. So
yeah, last week we were kind of talking about like dating yourself, like going through that period where you date yourself and you really get to know like who you are, you know, and I feel like that's perfect time to do that, you know.
Absolutely.
Because when else, when you're, you know, when you're taking all your time and, you know, you're in a relationship, it's all about your partnership, but you know, that's the time where you get to really explore who you are and what makes you happy, you know? There definitely are a lot of positives.
Definitely. And I have recently been like getting the itch to like get back out there, but I'm like, I need to really just savor this time, because there hopefully will come one day where I'll get married and then I won't ever have this time again. So, and I'll probably look back
to the next person that you date, Ashley, I feel like is going to be the keeper.
Oh,
I feel it in my bones.
Oh my gosh. I did say, like, the day before I moved in here, I was like, I told my best friend, I'm like, I'm going to meet the man of my dreams while living in this apartment. I just know it.
True.
I'm going to meet my soulmate while living in this apartment. And she was like, okay.
See, she knew. I knew it too.
So we'll see. But anyway, write down the positives, because you probably will, you know, a few months will go by and you'll be like, wow, that was so right. Like that totally was a positive thing from this, what seems like a very negative and hard change.
It's kind of like the pandemic, you know, like there was such a big change for so many people. And then I feel like everyone I talked to kind of found a positive out of it. Like, oh, like so many of my friends switched careers and they're like, I'm so happy, so much happier now. And even though it was a negative thing, like a lot of positive things happened because of it. So I think, definitely finding those positives is so important.
Oh my gosh, that's a great example. Like that, because I feel like the pandemic, everyone is dealt with that change. Everyone. And obviously the pandemic is awful and terrible. But for me, there were a few positive things that came out of it. I got to spend in 2020, I got to spend a total of 6 months with my family. And I would have,
like, when else would you be able to do that?
Never,
you know,
ever.
Yeah.
So that's a great example. And then the last one I have written down, which is kind of two combined, but I put it into one. Give yourself a break. Whether that's like, if you're having a hard time, just give yourself some grace. Just be like, this is really tough right now, but you know what? I'm dealing with the best that I can. And
that one I have a hard time with. That one is challenging for me.
Really?
Like, must do this, must do that. Yeah, I'm bad at like giving myself a break or giving myself grace.
I think
work in progress.
Yeah, I think I dealt with that, like not giving myself enough, like as much grace, like the night before I was moving, when I was literally at the point where, I mean, if any of you guys have moved before, for me, the worst part is like you have everything big packed and organized. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot more anal about organizing. There was a couple of times when I lived in Chicago and I moved apartments and I literally threw my stuff in garbage bags the night before. And I was like, all right, let's go. I'm not like that anymore. I am a lot more organized, but the night before I moved, it was just like little bits of stuff. It's like, well, where does this go? Like, I have all of these little tiny boxes. Like, my movers can't bring all these little tiny. So it's just like, that's when I like started to panic. Like, oh my gosh, like, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I thought I prepped better than this, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Just get a big box, put all the little boxes in the big boxes. You're doing your best, and if it's not the best, it's okay. By this time tomorrow, it'll be done.
Yes.
So I think maybe like acknowledging that, like, you're doing the best you can. I think your friends and your family can also help remind you to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
And that also ties into like, give yourself a break from other things that are stressing you out or that could lead to additional stress, like social media. Like, I've been really, really quiet on social media just because I have been so focused on so many other things right now that have taken priority, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and at the end of the night, when you like are relaxing, social media is like the last thing you want to be doing. I don't know about you, but I'm like, let me watch Netflix, let me watch stupid reality TV, and like just not think for a second.
right. Exactly. You know, obviously I'm still on social for my job, but like my personal social like has been like super quiet, but I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm going to give myself a break because right now there are other things that are more important that take precedence.
Exactly.
So those were the ones that I wrote down from that article you found. Were there any that I missed that you had written down?
No, I feel like those, yeah, those were exactly
awesome.
Same one.
Yeah. I think that those were all super helpful, and obviously it's not like a super fix. Like, everyone's different, so there might be things that work better for you and things that completely don't work for you. It also depends on your change and what you're going through.
Yeah, I kind of told you about the like vision board that I did.
Yes. So,
and that was
tell everyone
so
about that.
So I was so anxious one night. I was like, I can't fall asleep. I'm so anxious. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something positive. I'm going to switch this around. I'm like, and my friend Aliana, who we talked to last week, she was telling me about a vision board that she made in the coming year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that now.
Right now.
So I started it. And it was like me in Philly, and then like what I want my life to be like, you know? And so I put like different aspects, like work, you know, my relationship, things like that, you know, family, since they're going to be closer now, things like that, just so I could really envision it. And honestly, after I did that, I was so much happier. I felt so much better. I know it's such a silly thing, but it really made me feel so much better, because I think when you envision things that you want, like it comes true more often when you envision and you actually like meditate about it and think about it in that positive way. So yeah, that vision board really helped me. And then I also started a little journal, and I started writing like positives and affirmations and things like that. And I've never been one for affirmations, but I usually do like goals at the beginning of the year, and I'm goal oriented.
Yeah.
But that really helped me. I was like, okay, I think so. Any change you're going through, you know,
yeah,
big changes, little changes.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Really helpful.
I think that is so smart. And I kind of do something like that. Like, did you legit pull out like, look, when I think of a vision board, I think of like, you pull out a big poster board, you cut stuff out of magazines, you glue it on.
Yes.
Is that what you did?
Well, okay, so I did my rough draft version, but I want to do more like intense version. So I have like the rough draft version, but I want to do ones of pictures of me and the people in my life, because then it's not like things from magazines, but more like I'm really putting myself in there, you know? So like maybe taking pictures of me at that happy moment, like in my career where I felt like, you know, and so then I'm putting that in my Philly, like vision board, you know?
Yeah.
So I did my rough draft, and I'm about to like, and that I want to hang up in my bedroom.
That's awesome.
And make that more, you know, artsy and cute.
Yeah. I think I kind of do something like that, but on like Pinterest.
Yeah.
Because I have been so obsessed with creating a space that I love. And I keep like thinking, oh my God, I'm like really into interior design right now. Like maybe I should become an interior designer. I'm like, Ashley, it's a phase.
You'd be so good.
But because I had to buy, like, because I was living with roommates, I didn't have any of my own living room furniture, like nothing, like no dining room furniture, nothing. And because the space is different, I have to get like different, I got a different bed, I have to get different nightstands, I have to get a different dresser. And so it's just been a lot. And that honestly
but that will be so fun though.
It is
also.
fun.
But it is stressful.
It's stressful because I'm also like, I don't have an unlimited budget. And so I'm trying to be budget conscious, but find something that I love, that I know is good quality, that's not going to break down in a couple months. But to sort of organize my thoughts, I have created like boards on Pinterest, which has been really, really fun. That's like what I've been doing at night before I go to bed instead of being on social media. I've been obsessed with it. But another thing that I do to help me cope with change, and I think this is also like an aspect of me getting older, is I like to clean. Like, and oh my gosh, also I look at a couple days ago, I went down this weird rabbit hole on TikTok of people cleaning. And I'm like, the internet is so weird, but I could not stop watching cleaning videos, and it was just so calming to me, and it like made me want to clean. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get this cleaning product. I need this cleaning product. And I'm like, it was a good distraction and totally dorky, but my biggest thing that I like to clean is my kitchen. So just make sure that I go
That's your favorite? That's your go-to?
Yeah, make sure that I go to bed with no dishes in the sink, that like things are clean.
I'm with you on that one. Dishes in the sink. If I wake up and I see dishes in the sink, it puts me in an instant bad mood.
Yes, and like my desk, like every night before I go to bed, like I make sure like everything, I'm very like, okay, my laptop goes here, my planner goes here, like I kind of organize, and my God, it's so dorky, but I like to wake up in the morning and feel like, okay, I can start my day and I don't have to fish through this chaos. That to me helps.
Yeah.
It does.
That's so funny.
No, it's seriously.
No.
You need to go look at those cleaning videos. It's so satisfying,
so
Jamie. It's so satisfying.
I'm gonna take a look.
Okay.
Lately, I've been really into TikTok van life videos.
Oh my gosh. I totally had a moment where I went down that road too, and I'm like, I'm gonna live in a van.
I was down that road for a real, and I'm not the kind of van life kind of gal.
Oh my God,
like,
me neither.
I like a good bathroom and like good lighting, and
Absolutely.
But some of those vans are unreal. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yep.
So I understand going down the rabbit hole, but the cleaning one, I'll have to check out.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's worth it. Like, cleaning is a good thing.
I think that screams like in your 30s. Like, I feel like that's a thing that you definitely, like in my 20s, maybe not, but now that would excite me more than.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll have to send you some good TikToks. And I also started following this woman on Instagram, and she's all about cleaning too. And I just find it so fascinating. I'm like, you literally, like, she like wipes down her bathroom every day. I'm like, you clean your bathroom every day. I do this like once every 2 weeks, maybe.
Like a good deep cleaning every 2 weeks.
Yes.
But you like deep cleans it every
day. Like down freaking scrubbing the toilet, just going to town.
Wow. That bathroom is clean.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I want to stay at your house. Oh, now that I've completely exposed myself. Oh man. Okay, so question. What are things we don't do when we're going through change that we think would be helpful to us as far as coping with change?
I said the exercise thing. I think like I'm pretty, I ebb and flow with the exercise thing. I am either like in it to win it, or it's like nada. And right now it's a nada. So I feel like this would be the time to exercise, and it's just not happening right now. I feel like I have 1,000,001 things, so that's just not happening for me.
Yeah. For me, it's sleep. Like I need like, I function best on like 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, which sounds like a lot, but that's just my body.
No, that sounds perfect.
And when I go through stressful times, like I will not be conscious of that, and the next thing I know, I'm on TikTok at 3 a.m. watching cleaning videos, and then I have to wake up 5 hours later, and doing that for multiple nights in a row, oh my God, it's just a recipe for disaster. And
So can I ask you a question? When you look at these TikTok cleaning videos, like what do you look up? Hashtag cleaning?
I think it's called cleaning TikTok or TikTok cleaning. It's a hashtag.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just so when we get off and I look at it.
Yes, yeah.
I want to make sure. Okay.
But yeah, so sleep is huge for me. And I think this past weekend, I completely hit a wall because I had not slept. Like, I had gotten terrible sleep for like a week straight. And where it should have been the opposite. Like, I should have, you know, every night been like, okay, I need to put my phone on the other side of the room. Like, I need to really focus on sleep. And like, another thing is like waking up, going to bed and waking up around the same time is really major for me. Because when you're tired, it just makes everything so much harder.
I know. You are so right. Yes, I'm with you on this one, the sleep thing. Yeah. This morning I woke up and I was like, Fawn, my boyfriend, I was like, are you awake? He's like, no. Like, I woke up at like 6. I wanted him to be awake.
Yeah.
So we could talk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He wasn't. He's like, well, now I am. What?
That's hilarious. Or my
Usually I will let him sleep, but like I really wanted him up.
That is so cute. Oh my gosh. I hope that was a good conversation. He felt like it was worth it.
Probably not. I was just so anxious. I wanted to talk. I was like, so bad conversation. Yeah.
That's adorable though. I can just like see that playing in my head. You guys are so sweet together. I love it. Yeah. So then, do you think that change and growth is important for evolving as a human, as a person?
Yeah. Don't you? For sure. I feel like you have to take yourself out of your comfort zone and evolve. And I feel like change has everything to do with that. Like, like with our moving, you know, like you moving into a new apartment by yourself. This is the first time you've done that. That's huge. You know, living by yourself is it's like growing up. It's a grown up thing, you know? So like, that's such a big thing. And I think you're definitely going to evolve from that, you know?
Yes. And I even think like bad changes are huge. Like, I don't want to like put a damper on this conversation at all, but I was engaged once and my fiance passed away. And that was like one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through in my life. But I now like if that wouldn't have happened, not that I wanted it to happen, I 100% didn't, but I am such a different person now. And my life has changed so drastically. You know, I probably wouldn't have come to New York. And I mean, so much has happened for me since I've been here. And so you kind of have to think, like, I feel like sometimes it's hard to see it in the moment, obviously, when something like traumatic happens like that. But down the road, you'll be like, wow, like I really understand. And it could even be smaller things, you know, like, I don't know. What's an example of a smaller thing?
Of change, like going to college.
Yeah.
You know?
Or it could even be like a haircut.
Yeah.
You know?
Haircut.
You know, it could be as simple as like chopping your hair off or like changing the color. And at first you're like, oh my God, what did I do? But then you never know. You never know. But I think regardless of whatever you go through, whether it's, you know, I think even if the change is positive, all change can be a little bit difficult. I think it's going to definitely strengthen you as a person, and it's going to make you resilient, and it's going to make you, you know, just be stronger for your future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So almost like sometimes when things are hard, I'm like, okay, this is challenging me. Like I was telling them, I don't know if you heard, but the first day I was moving, like, you know, moving in the city is hard enough. It was pouring rain.
Of course.
And, you know, I did so many back and forth in the rain. And I didn't, like, it was chilly too, but I was like, I'm not even going to wear my coat because my coat's just going to get drenched. So I was just like in a sweatshirt and like soaking wet. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get through this.
The world is challenging me right now.
And yeah, you know, so now it's like, in the future, it's like if I move, And it, you know, it's like, well, I've already moved when it's been pouring rain. So what else, what's much worse can get? A blizzard. I don't know. But I definitely think it helps, helps you grow for sure. And then what are some of the best ways to help your friends and family who are going through major changes in their life?
I think like my cousin right now, her and her boyfriend just broke up. And so I've just been kind of checking in on her. Is there anything, you know, I think just being there for someone, being support system, and just making sure that, you know, or sending them like flowers or a little gift or something like that, just to show that you're thinking about them and that you're there for them, and so that they know they always have someone to talk to or that's there for them. You know?
Yes, definitely.
Whether it is a death or a breakup or someone, you know, a mom that's kid just went to college for the first time. You know, I know when I went to college, I called my mom like 20 times and then it just stuck, you know, just to check up on her, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think just to like, you know, show them that you're there, even if even if you're just there to listen, I think that's huge. You know, like just keep reminding them, like, you can call me, like, I will be here.
I think my friends that like are still around and have been my longest friends, and just my friends that are my everything, are the ones that during those times check in on me and really care, you know, that are there for the darker times more than even the lighter times, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I think also asking them, like, what do you need? What can I do?
What do you need from me?
So here's a great example. One of my best friends, Tyler, he just got a puppy like maybe a month ago or so. He is so cute. His name is Theo, the little puppy. And him and Penelope have become fast friends. But, you know, getting a puppy is very stressful.
That's a big change.
And he's got like a very demanding job. He luckily gets to work from home, but the puppy is there all the time. It needs 100% constant attention. So I think like obviously it's a good change. He has this cute little adorable little creature that he gets to snuggle and play with, and you know, it's like they become your babies. But I think he's kind of like started to develop some overwhelm. You know, he's overwhelmed, and he's like, I don't have time for, like, I don't even have time for myself. Like, I literally cannot keep my eyes off of him. And he's also small. He's only like 3. He got him. He was like 2 pounds 5 ounces. Tiny. He's a Morkie. A Morkie Maltese Yorkie. And now I think he's like 3.5 pounds, but still, like, obviously really tiny. So like he cannot keep his eye off of him. And I think, he's just been really overwhelmed with everything. And he is like, I just wish I could just have a night with my boyfriend, just the two of us. But like, I constantly have to be with this, you know, with Theo. And I'm like, hey, like, drop him off. I'll have him for the night. Like, drop him off here. Penelope and I will play with him. You go have your night off. You go relax. So he's going to do that this Saturday.
That's so good.
Yeah, and
what a good friend you are.
I think, I mean, how can I give up that little cutie pie? Oh my gosh, she can come over anytime. But I think maybe just like asking your friends and family, like, how can I help? Like, and thinking of like little ways that you can relieve a little bit of stress. Because even something as simple as that, like, he's probably gonna, you know, come back the next day and just be like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like, thank you, you know. And it could be something simple as like maybe getting them coffee one morning, or even just a text or a phone call, you know.
Or like moms that have like so many kids, or even just one kid, or like single moms or things like that. I don't know. I'm always like, to my friends that are moms, I'm like, what can I do for you? I know you're not getting any sleep right now. Like, I don't know that I could function like that. So what can I help you with?
Yes, absolutely. Or even like, you know, saying, hey, let's get you a babysitter. You're going to come over. I'm going to cook you dinner. We're going to have some wine. You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything. Just very simple. Just, I think in general, just show them that you're there and that you are there for them. And, you know, whatever they need, you'll be by their side. So
exactly.
I think just that enough is like, helps, really helps.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Well, I think you have this whole Philly move in the bag.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm so excited for you. Hopefully, by the time you come to New York for a casting or a booking, my place will be all finished and you can come over.
Yes.
That would be so much fun. And also, like, Philadelphia is such a great city. I went there for the first time this fall and I was in love.
It's so fun, and there's so much history there, so I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh, that's what I loved about it. I just love stuff like that.
Being on the East Coast, like, there's so many cute places in the summer that you can drive to and go to.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah. And my sister, she lives in Connecticut, so it'll be really fun to drive.
Oh my gosh.
Not far.
That's right. That's so great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
I just realized recently when I was on this past Sunday, when the last day my friend was in town, we walked and got dinner at this restaurant. I live a block away, or like a couple blocks away, where Hamilton, his house was.
Oh wow.
And the house is there. And I'm like, oh my God, this was Hamilton's house. Like, Alexander Hamilton's house.
Isn't that crazy?
And I read the plaque and it was like, yeah, he wanted a house like out in the country, like, more in like the rural. And I'm like, this used to be the country. Like, this is crazy.
That's crazy.
Like, so nuts. So I think like also it's going to be fun just exploring new places and finding a new coffee shop. And for you, like, getting to know Philly better. And you're going to have a car, right?
Yeah, I have a car.
Okay, that's awesome.
So if you ever need to move again, you can always. I'll pick up your boxes.
You are so sweet. I love that. Hopefully, I'll be here for a while, and once I sort of get my bearings together, I do plan on sort of showing the process of everything on my Instagram. So if you want to follow that, you can pop on over to It's Ashley Braxton. I'm going to do a couple of like cool home or like cool apartment renovation stuff, like decorating stuff. So that'll be really fun, and definitely check out Cleaning on TikTok. If you want something,
I'm on it.
If you want something to distract you from your stress,
I'm on it.
Yes, please. Let me go through, because I think there were a couple of comments before we say goodbye. My mother says, hi again, from our little first mishap. That's okay. Vaughn says, the secret of change is to focus all your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And that is a quote from Socrates. Love that. I love that he watches, and not only watches, he contributes.
Yes.
Your mom said cleaning is positive. What could be bad? Agreed.
My mom and you are both. You guys would get along very well.
My mom likes to clean too. Yeah, but I wasn't always like that. My college days, sometimes I lived in the studio. I did live alone a couple of years when I lived in Chicago during college. I lived in like studio apartments. There'd be times where you cannot see my floor. So much.
Oh no.
So much clothes, but no longer. And your mom also said every day is a vacation. Yeah, when you live in a cool place like Philly or New York, every day is totally a vacation. And that's why like I'm so obsessed with creating like a little sanctuary for myself here, because it can be a lot. And I think like being from the Midwest, like I do really love like the outdoors and like nature and stuff. So I'm going to try to bring some of those elements into my interior design. So I will keep you guys posted.
And more plants, of course.
Yes, of course. But anyway, if any of you are going through change right now and are struggling, or if you have any other tips that you want to share with us. I mean, you and
Yeah.
I are still going through the process. Reach out, let us know. Otherwise, like if you have questions or need advice or anything, like we are always here to lend a helping hand. You can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email us at support@coedition.com. And then you can always follow Jamie and I on our social platforms to sort of follow along with our personal journey. I'm at it's Ashley Braxton, and Jamie is at Jamie.Finkenthal.
Jamie_Finkenthal.
Jamie_Finkenthal. It's basically both of our names. But yeah, and I think even like bringing it back to maybe fashion for a second, like
retail therapy.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Retail therapy for sure. Or even like I'm thinking about transitioning into my like summer clothes, and like even that, like I'm kind of like, wow, I haven't had my arms exposed for like 5 months. You know what I mean? So it's like that is like a change that I have to get used to. And I like, you know, like you don't have things like that out for a while. And it's like my arms are like one of the spots that I'm like a little bit self-conscious of. I'm like, I gotta wipe that away. I gotta just, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, 100%.
Here we go. We're doing this.
Yes. Force yourself to evolve in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to be insecure about this anymore.
Right.
Like, here they are.
Exactly. I'll just have to continue to wear more and more sleeveless stuff. And eventually by the end of the summer, I'll be like, sweaters? What? No. Okay. Well, so I don't think we'll have you on next week because you will like be driving or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing this with me tonight. I know that you are swamped and just like up to your ear in boxes. So I really, really appreciate you talking with me. I just thought it was like perfect topic. And once you are like all settled and moved in or half settled like I am, we can, you know, come back and have another conversation, because Jamie and I have a lot of great topics on the board for you all. And of course, if you ever have anything that you want us to talk about, like, you know, anything, let us know. We want to hear your suggestions. We are totally open to suggestions. So reach out to us and let us know. But good luck, girlfriend. You got
this. Thank you. And you too, getting your apartment together.
Thank you. I think for me, the hardest part is done. And you know what? Like, if you need anything, I'm only a text or a call away.
Thank you, Ashley.
Seriously.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm here for you. But
you.
I think you are going to do swimmingly. You're going to do amazing. And you just got to get there. You just got to get there.
Thank you. Just do it.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This was so much fun. And you know, come follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're on TikTok. You can check out the cleaning. Maybe I should do like a cleaning video on TikTok for CoEdition.
I think people would really like it.
I just got the greatest
idea.
That would get you excited. I just got the best idea. I can't share it with you because it's going to be a secret. But it probably has something to do with like a really nice dress and like, you know, scrub brush or something. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. I have lost it. I'm going to go to bed. Good luck, Jamie. And thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next week. And Jamie, we'll see you in a few.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye everyone. Enjoy your night.